All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. We are going to do an earlier one anyway, but this one has got a little bit extra not good to it. This one is entitled Two Guardsmen Were Shot in DC. We still don't know the condition of them, but from what I have heard and read, they were shot multiple times. One of the two, and they're two in critical condition, and it's been reported by some news agencies that they have succumbed to their wounds. One was supposedly shot in the head. I heard one of them was shot 4 times. This guy came out of nowhere and ambushed him. So that is the long short of it. There's a lot of other stuff going on right now. So we're going to take you through it as we do here on the Crisis Report. Okay. So let's lock in and get going. We're brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals, and they do the whole IRA in gold and silver. They are channel sponsors, so we will name them before we get started on this very serious topic. And we appreciate you being here. Please hit that like button, do the subscribe thing, darken out the bell, and join us on Substack if you would like to see, what's going on. No, I'm not late, Silverback. What I'm trying to do is give you good information, okay, you frickin' idiot? Go away. Jeez. Yeah, we know, you're late. Okay, should I get out there and just start chucking out info that's not correct? Because over the last hour, I've been putting it together so I can get something correct. Feel free to leave the channel. I don't want you here. In fact, I'll do it for you. Here we go. Let me find where you are. There you are. There you go. Okay, see you later, buddy. Bye. All right, let's get started on your crisis report. And here we go. Just tired of it. Tired of these people acting like they're all hard asses and stuff. I like to get good information. Okay, let's get that clear before I get going. Being first doesn't mean you're correct. If I'd been first 45 minutes ago, it wouldn't have had Patrick Morrisey, the West Virginia governor, coming out and saying, you know what, we're getting conflicting reports. Being first doesn't mean you're correct. This other person on another thread about a few months ago was like, oh, I go to this guy. He's much better than you. I go 2 videos into the guy's channel, and he was reporting erroneous information. Why? Because he worried about getting it first. I'm not here to be popular. I'm not here to be first. I'm here to be as correct and on the ball as possible. I actually care about my integrity. I'm not trying to become some big YouTuber. You know, I got into education because I want to be respected. So those that come here know. Those that people know that when they get the information here, if I don't get it correct, I will immediately correct it. But 99.7% of the time, when I get you information, it's on the ball and it's correct. All right, let's get started. EU will back Ukraine every step of the way until peace, according to von der Leyen. Kremlin says that Europe bid to involve in Ukraine talks is unnecessary. So this is all going on before as I was tabulating, and then, of course, the terrible news from DC came out. By the way, Europe has absolutely no reason to be inputting anything onto what's going on between Ukraine and Russia. They should just STFU and leave. Firefighters are battling a blaze at Hong Kong in their housing blocks. It's a really big one. We'll have that. The massive fire engulfed several high-rise buildings in Hong Kong residential estate. At least 4 people have been killed. That number is going to go way up. Fire at a Spanish hospital as well. I don't know the condition of that, but I threw that in there. There's a coup underway in Guinea-Bissau. Military officers have declared taking total control of the country. Now the Sahel of Africa has been completely through some form of a coup in multiple countries since 2020. The entire continent is in a different way. Georgia prosecutor has killed the election interference case that was being put up against Trump and his allies. Guinea-Bissau's President Mbala was arrested. He's being well treated, according to military sources in the AFP. Humanoid robots are going to trial guiding crowds at Chinese border crossings. Yet another wonderful thing they're trying to do to get into place to keep you and I as slaves. China's your beta test for that. Nationwide security emergency has been declared in Nigeria in the wake of mass kidnappings, including of children from Catholic school. Hundreds were taken and multiple were killed. We're one of the only people that are actually reporting on this. RFK Jr.'s new CDC deputy director prefers natural immunity over jibbity jabs. I mean, in 2021, my wife was getting ready to do the thing, and I was like, please, God, don't. And then we all got it, and she said, oh, you know what? Now we've got natural immunity. I said, uh-huh. And thank God we didn't. Heavy police and Secret Service activity around the White House, sidewalks fully closed, pedestrians, vehicles, and the press have been moved in the briefing room inside the building. That was about 2:15, 2:20 Eastern Standard Time when things started to get rolling. 2:30, it started hitting the wires that 2 members of the National Guard had been shot near the White House. Trump, on the shooting of the 2 National Guard troops near the White House, said that the animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen, with both being critically wounded, now in 2 separate hospitals, are also severely wounded, but regardless, the person will pay a very steep price. He is in custody, by the way. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. These are truly great people. I, as President of the United States, and everyone associated with the office of the presidency, am with you. National Guardsmen involved in the shooting in D.C. was an ambush attack, according to CBS. And the 2 National Guard members have died in the shooting near the White House, according to Patrick Morrisey, who is the West Virginia governor. But he would walk that back, and I was actually waiting, again, because I'm not worried about being I want to give you good information, but we haven't gotten any clarity on if they have succumbed to their wounds or not. So what I'm going to do is come back and tell you after I go back to my little intel sources and see if they've given an update on their condition. If you guys could pray for not just the 2 guardsmen, but their families. These are guys that are trying to serve the country and do, good things for people. And they're sitting there and they get ambushed by some evil human. I don't even want to call him human. Evil person. Multiple intensive airstrikes have been going on in Idlib, Syria. Yes, because the world's on fire. The Olympic flame is lit at the Temple of Hera in Greece, and it's going to start its journey to Italy for the Winter Olympics. Both president and opposition leader are currently under arrest by the Bissau military. Death of the ECOWAS. What is that? Well, that's the it's like a security framework. ECOWAS. It's of Western African states. I forget what ECO stands for exactly. But anyway, it's now the 5th country in this framework to face a coup d'etat. It's on the brink of collapse under the ECOWAS statute. There are military provisions, but only one country holds military sway, and that is Nigeria. Interesting that it is under an emergency right now and undergoing its own problems with the terrorist attack on Christians that no one's reporting about. He said he doubts it is going to intervene in any sort, and they saw the response to ECOWAS when Niger faced a military coup in 2023, which is basically nothing. It is highly likely that the coup in Bissau is pro-Russia-led coup, leaving the ECOWAS, which is a pro-Western organization, totally boxed in. Europe and America are totally losing their narrative in Africa, and the people are openly embracing the alternative, which is Russia and China. Majority of the continent of Africa is now pro-Russia. ECOWAS's functionality is only left on paper, sad to say. Nuke Sniffer is up. Yesterday, Cobra Ball 612662 deployed to Anchorage. It joined 624128, which flew in from Kadena some time ago. The flight was not tracked. It seems a Russian test missile is afoot that they do not want to miss. Could this be a Sarmat test, which of course is also known as the Satan? It's their super nuke test from an alternate location, since the dedicated test launch silo was destroyed during the last launch. We don't know. Keep suppressing, YouTube. Pope Leo the 14th begins a 6-day visit to Turkey and Lebanon on Thursday, his first foreign trip since his election. Politico reports that Secretary of State Marco Rubio refused to meet EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas amid U.S.-Russia negotiations to end the Ukraine proxy war. President Trump's disapproval rating amongst Jewish people is 72%, according to the Jewish Electorate Institute. It's no surprise. A relative of White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt has been detained by ICE and will be deported, according to NBC News. The mother of Carolyn Leavitt's nephew, Bruna Caroline Ferreira, was detained by ICE in Revere, Massachusetts, and is now held in Louisiana awaiting deportation. Officials say she overstayed her visa by 25 years and had a past arrest for battery. It's unclear how that case ended. Interesting. Trump says that the United States did not attend the G20 in South Africa because the South African government refuses to acknowledge or address the horrific human rights abuses endured by Afrikaners and other descendants of Dutch, French, and German settlers. To put it more bluntly, they're killing white people and randomly allowing their farms to be taken from them. South Africa will not be receiving an invitation to the 2026 G20, which will be hosted in the great city of Miami, Florida next year. We're going to stop all payments and subsidies to them effective immediately, per Trump. FAA said it temporarily grounded all departures to Reagan National Airport for security reasons, obviously tied to the 2 National Guardsmen that have been shot. FBI Director Kash Patel said the FBI is engaged in assisting with the investigation in Washington, D.C. after National Guard members were shot this afternoon. Pray for them, and we will update with more information as we are able. And before I came out slack-jawed and start reporting it because I'm worried about clicks and actually care about my integrity, this hit the wires, and so I paused and got more information. Governor Patrick Morrisey, this is at 4:15 p.m., said, "We are now receiving conflicting reports about the condition of our 2 Guard members and will provide additional updates once we receive more complete information, and nothing has been updated on their status since." We'll check at the end. EU Parliament passed a non-binding resolution calling for restricting social media use by age via verification app. Critics say any such protection for minors would also end anonymity for social media users in the European Union. This is the death of privacy in the EU. So they are effectively taking this and using it all for the air quotes protection of minors to basically make it so they can look at anybody. And now you can have the police called on you should you say something nasty about the government because they're doing a crappy job in places like Germany, which is happening on a daily basis in the UK as well. But hey, let's all just shut up and watch Roblox and like not care. And, there's a reason why my social credit on this platform is as crappy as it is, because I'm going to freaking say it. If you haven't told, my attitude towards everything has changed. The power of FU is here. I don't care anymore. We're going to say it. At least 13 dead, 15 injured in the Wong Fuk Court residential complex in Hong Kong's Tai Po district. Building is home to 4,600 people with nearly 2,000 flats and was undergoing renovations when the blaze broke out. Update, the toll has risen to 36. 279 people are unaccounted for. The blaze was absolutely massive. That number is going to go up. Yet another industrial strength style mega crisis in China per their crappy infrastructure, because they do the same thing. They just slap crap together. South Korea launches its homegrown Nuri rocket, deploying 13 satellites into orbit. Trump says that the United States will stop all payments and subsidies to South Africa, whose government refuses to acknowledge the horrific human rights abuses endured by Afrikaners and other descendants of French, German, and Dutch legacies. They are killing white people, he said. President Trump's administration has fallen short of its promised mass deportation agenda. That is according to Heritage Foundation fellow Mike Howell, who reports that the White House is purposely avoiding large-scale workplace raids of farms, restaurants, and hotels in order to appease interested employers. Howell asserts that DHS has masked these intentional gaps in enforcement with social media messaging and undisclosed deportation data. He warns that without major federal investment in a dramatic increase in deportation operations, Republicans risk betraying their constituents on immigration and paving the way for future amnesty. And that is the thing. And again, just like I'm not going to take any crap today, I don't care what's going on. If I don't like the news and it's pro-Trump or negative Trump or whatever, I'm going to report it. Good, bad, or indifferent, as my father used to say. I'm not here to suck anyone off or do anything. I'm telling you to tell you what's going on in an unjust biased way. Done. Freaking done. Work too hard at this crap to take this kind of BS from people. Since the introduction of the iPhone, childbearing has plummeted amongst liberal but not conservative women. Yes, that's right, Google. The future is conservative, so stop sucking off the left. This means there is now a 31 percentage point gap between young conservatives women and their liberal peers today. Good. Keep having babies, conservatives. Liberals, put things in your butt. One of the National Guardsmen received a shot to the head. Some sources are reporting that he passed away as a result of the wound, but it is unconfirmed still. Still don't know. We'll check. KAN News says Hamas is on the rise in Lebanon. In recent months, Hamas's military wing has allocated entire companies, including hundreds of military operatives, to Hezbollah's Radwan force. This represents an extremely large portion of the Radwan force, circa 2,500 pre-war and significantly reduced after. Effectively, this turns the Radwan force from Lebanese Shiite one to a Palestinian one. Hezbollah's decision to allow Hamas into their ranks stems from the organization's understanding that it is no longer militarily strong enough following the war against Israel. Hamas, on the other hand, has begun to regain significant strength in Lebanon and is engaged in expanding its military presence in Lebanon and increasing its production of rockets. Most of Hamas's activity in Lebanon is concentrated in the cities of Tyre, Sidon, and Tripoli. About a week ago, Israel attacked a recruitment center of the organization's military wing in Sidon. UK concludes exercise Pegasus, the largest Ronademic simulation in nearly a decade, with a simulated virus, enterovirus EVD68, thought to originate from pigs and primarily killing children. U.S. Army Secretary Driscoll told Kiev that NATO's ability to improve Ukraine's dire battlefield situation is limited. He added that these difficulties will force Kiev to make tough concessions. German Chancellor Merz stated that Putin needs to realize that he has no chance of winning the war. Where are these people coming from? Have they not looked at like the most basic of battlefield maps and the fact that Russia is chewing up ground proceeding to the west? And I'm not saying that because I like it. It's just a fact. Like they literally want to have World War III. He reiterated that maintaining peace in Europe is one of the key principles of his government and emphasized the need to end the war in Ukraine, but not on terms that would amount to de facto capitulation. Going to markets, investor fear levels are rising. The cost of a 5-year put option protecting against at least a 55% drop in the S&P 500 has risen to 46 basis points, highest level since April's sell-off. Excluding April, this is the highest level in the last at least 2 years. S&P 500 rises above 6,800 and is now less than 2% away from hitting a new all-time high. U.S. Treasury posted a $284.4 billion deficit in October, the worst opening month to any fiscal year in history. This exceeds the previous record of $284.1 billion in October 2020 during the historic Ronademic response. Government spending jumped 18% year over year to $688.7 billion. U.S. margin debt jumped $57.2 billion in October to a record $1.2 trillion. That marks the sixth consecutive monthly increase. Margin debt for trading has risen $285 billion or 32% year to date. Over the last 6 months, margin debt has surged 39%, biggest jump in a long time. Tether has bought more gold last quarter than every other central bank out there. United States Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has arrived in the Dominican Republic to meet with senior leaders to discuss continued cooperation in countering narco-terrorists in the Americas. Dominican Republic has authorized the U.S. to use its air bases. That's basically a green light to go drop the hammer. Pete Hegseth says they are going to deploy 500 additional National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. after today's incident. And let's take a look at what's going on right now in D.C. after this incident. Okay, here we go. Let me go to my thing. All right, so I just got intel from one of my trusted subscribers, says that they're praying for their recovery. So it seems they are still alive, thank God. And this is from Market News Feed, which is a pretty large channel on Telegram. It gets it pretty quickly. It says, National Guard members in critical condition, the FBI director has said. Muriel Bowser, who is the D.C. Mayor, said that the shooting was targeted, and there's no indication any other suspect, according to the D.C. police chief. Go to a few more. Washington, D.C. shooting was an ambush, according to the police. There is no other suspect in the Washington, D.C. shooting, per the mayor. And that is that right there. Pentagon has told Congress in an October 7th letter that Alibaba, Baidu, BYD, and 5 other Chinese companies should be added to its 1260H list, which identifies firms linked to the Chinese military. That's critical. Let's see. The 2 National Guard troops shot near White House are not dead. Both are in critical condition. That is according to Cash Patel. That is the latest as of 4:55 p.m. And there is a ground stop at Reagan National right now. So basically, if you're in the D.C. area, you might want to go home and just kind of chill for a bit. Thank God I don't live there anymore. So that is everything that I know up to date so far. As you can tell, my propensity to take crap from people at this point is basically nil. I just celebrated 19 years sobriety, almost 20, we're getting there. And I got there by not lying to myself. I got there by basically being as honest as possible, even in ways that I didn't like sometimes. So when I come here and I do my news and everything, I take it incredibly seriously. I actually believe that my reputation and what people think about me is important. I don't care what people think about me, but at the same time, I'm not going to do anything to sully my name. So if you're just coming here to be a butthead, go. And if you don't go, I'll make you go. If you want to get hardcore, intense, good news in a 20 to 30 minute packaging so you can go out and live your life and not sit here and doom scroll like some freaking tool. And if you're doom scrolling like for hours a day, you need to get a life. Okay? It is an incredibly critical part in America's history right now with what's going on. Quit jacking around and go get yourself in a better way. Whatever that may look like. Physical, financial, mental health, I don't know. You do you. In the meantime, I'm going to keep giving you guys as packaged and as tense and just comprehensive of news as you can fit. So you can put on the earbuds, listen to it, do whatever the heck you're doing, and move on. I know the people that respect the way I do it. I know that I'm not absolutely sure, but I think the way I do it is better than most. I don't have the time to F around anymore. I got too much to do. So when you come here, and 99.9% of you are totally respectful, I appreciate you. God bless you all for being here. I do it for you. Okay? And I really sincerely thank you. All of you. But if you're here to just like twist nuts and be like that, I'm going to 86 you faster than you can say go F yourself. Okay? Those that know that my news is not perfect, but it's about as darn good as you're going to get. And it's usually about 12 to 16 hours before. But again, my just ability to take people's crap is absolutely nil at this point. So All right. Hey, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And guess what? I'll be doing it again tomorrow. Okay? Because I respect that you come here and you give me the respect that you do. Thank you, Bob Hawk. I appreciate that. And I'm not doing it for money. Okay? I make a little bit of coin, but if you saw it, these broadcasts are about $5 to $10 each in the grand scheme of things. That's all fine and well, but I want you guys to have the information so you can take it, know what the threat assessments are, and you can go out and live your life and protect your family, because that's why I'm doing it. All right, we're brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals, trusted sponsor. We appreciate them for backing us up. We appreciate you for backing us up. If you would like to become a member like Howard Clegg, please do. It's a couple bucks. We appreciate that. We have a nice group that support the channel. You can go to Subscribestar or Locals, or you can go to Substack where you can get an entire manuscript of this with links and everything else. And you can go and find whatever kind of rabbit hole you want to go down, because everything I say here, I back up with an actual citation device, unlike 99.9999999 channels out there. Okay? I'm not pushing doom. I'm pushing truth. God bless you all. Have a great day.